is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. I have a very cool guest. He is unplugged, as he would say, and we're going to let him explain what that means. But he's the founder of DIY Wealth. So he is an expert on how to help people change their financial behavior patterns and become more financially responsible. And I guess that would probably be the essential message that you do.
Yeah. Basically, I want to advocate behavior change with people. And a lot of that comes from sitting in one's thoughts. I like to pair it with deeper philosophical thinking and gain that reasonable financial freedom at earlier ages in life. So therefore, you can go and pour your creative juices or pour into the things you love or the hobbies you love doing more, spend more time doing those things rather than just perpetually, stuck on a hamster wheel, as I put it. Sometimes people just hamster wheel their whole life.
I love that. It's so true. And I forgot to say, please welcome Zach Juergensen.
Oh, yes.
I kind of just got all into your
Yeah. Hey, that's good. I like excitement. We got right into it.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, right. We're here for it. Well, Zach, you've done a lot. So you were in debt at a very early age, right? Which has motivated you to become this. You basically retired fairly young, obviously, by looking at you. And now you are trying to help other people kind of achieve the same results that you've achieved.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, for people that are only listening over the airwaves and can't physically see me, but I went into the military. Even prior to that, I had poor spending habits, got into a fair amount of debt. And basically by the age of 31, achieved a net worth of $1 million through assets like real estate, the stock market, as well as digital assets that are emerging like NFTs, cryptocurrencies. I don't know as much about that space right now, but I'm adding it as diversification. But through it, invested in assets that push money back into my wallet rather than this hard narrative push that has been max out your 401ks and then at 60 I'll let you retire with some semblance of gratification.
Right.
You need to if you want to retire at 60 and you want to push all your money into a 401k, don't listen to me.
Yeah.
If you're someone that's going, I want freedom at 30, I want freedom at 40, I want freedom at 50, wherever you're at, start tuning into the stuff I'm saying. It's going to resonate and it's going to make sense.
I love it. I'd probably be a perfect example. I've got terrible spending habits. I'm a typical girl, very high maintenance. I love my clothes, my shoes, my bags, like totally. So I always love having conversations with people that are like you, that are very smart. And I think it takes a lot of discipline to get to that financial independence. And I love the philosophical part that you offer, because I think that maybe some people resonate with that a little bit more than others, instead of like the hard numbers, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No. I have people that I help with one-on-one coaching through Patreon. My patrons get that one-on-one coaching, and they also get like an Excel spreadsheet of all my positions I have in the stock market, my real estate deals, all that. And I update it monthly. So people are able to mirror that a little bit, but again, I'm big on the education piece. I try to make it fun, and I try to drill down on like the behavior of it, because I actually just did an episode that dropped. I think it was this Wednesday. It was this Wednesday or last Wednesday, where there was a Sports Illustrated statistic. It was like high 70 something percent of NFL players are bankrupt after 2 years of retiring. It was like 5 years for baseball players and then 7 years for basketball players.
Wow.
And so it just goes to show, like, whether you make $500 a week or $50,000 a week, it's not a money problem. It's a behavior problem. So if you can rewire your brain to think a little bit differently and identify, why am I spending my money on this stuff? Am I really enjoying these things? What are my real goals in life, other than just, I'm buying this purse to look important, I'm buying this car so that way I can impress the opposite sex, I'm buying this house because I just got a promotion and I'm keeping up with the Joneses? These are all external narratives. Yeah. And when we constantly let the external narrative control our spending habits and our behavior, versus taking some time, pulling out of the situation and going, what do I want out of life? And if this is what I want out of life, how do I get there in the next 5 years, in the next 3 years, in the next 10 years, whatever those goals are? And then I help people like reverse engineer and walk that back to set up very reasonable goals to get where they want to be in life. Not everyone needs $1 million. Not everyone needs $500,000. Not everyone needs $10 million. Like, your financial goals on what you view as financially free and being able to do the things you want to do in life and design the life you want to live, it's as unique as a thumbprint. And so I'm living testament. It can be done through self-education and wealth accumulation. Now I'm just pouring back into other people's cups, because like, I think the world could be at a very amazing place if more people had the financial freedom to nimbly move around and pour into the passions and things they really want to be doing in life, instead of under someone's thumb and basically having to go to work to cover bread, electricity, the rent, the mortgage payment, and all the other things that are just associated with the need for money. Money isn't evil. It's not, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
But above and beyond a certain point, money can become destructive to potentially the wealthiest life that you can live.
I completely agree with that. So I like kind of in the middle there, where, you know, I do like to work 100%. You know, I do like to like have a lot of things going on, but I also need to work to cover those bills. I'm not like, I don't hate it again, really, because I mean, I do my podcast. I invest in my hobbies and invest in the things that I'm passionate about. So I don't let that prevent me, but I could be a lot smarter with my money. And it's not that, and I still listen, I don't care about the freaking bag. Like, I have some nice
That's
designer
good.
bags, but I don't care about it. Like, it's not something that like, oh, look at me, I've got the newest Louis Vuitton. I don't care about that.
That's
I
good.
have clothes from when I was in high school. Like, I still like that I got
Good
at
on you.
a garage sale that I still love. You know, I just love fashion. And for me, that's another creative outlet. And so I think that for me, I don't know, like, how I would change the behavior, and we'll just like use me as an example. How would I change the behavior behind something that to me is like I express myself that
So
way?
there's, and I've been having a hard time really trying to articulate and figure this out too, but there's this whole concept and movement of minimalism. Have you heard about
Yes.
minimalism?
Yeah.
Okay. I
I could
I
never do
ad, I
it.
I advocate for minimalism up to a certain extent, but then I haven't 100% figured it out, but this is the kind of the best, I guess, example I could give you. If you're let's say you're getting ready to go to work and you go to Starbucks and you're going to purchase a cup of coffee from Starbucks. Are you doing it because it's just habit and you don't think about it anymore? Are you doing it because you need the caffeine boost in order to get through your morning? Are you doing it for, there's probably numerous other reasons that fall in that category. Or are you literally driving to Starbucks, happy you're going to Starbucks, looking forward to genuinely just enjoying that cup of coffee? That's a purchase that I would view as admirable, and you're moving in the right direction on how to decide whether something's worth buying or not. If you're buying something because I'm not knocking you, I'm just trying to
Sure,
generate
yeah.
an example for you. If you're buying something because it's the next fast fashion thing and you're just doing it because you're used to it, and that's a system and process that you somehow have ingrained in your operation of how you're going to spend, then I don't think you're purchasing things for the right reason. But like you mentioned, if you're doing it because you truly enjoy fashion and you're going to love that thing and get a lot out of it,
Yeah.
that's fine. If it ends up being worn twice and it stays in your closet for 8 years, then regardless of whether you're hiding behind the rock of I love fashion, I don't think it's
Oh,
being purchased for the correct reason.
oh, hmm. All right, well, that's something to think about.
and, and again, like, I just, I'm not here to, knock anyone. I'm just here to
No,
create a paradigm shift. Like, just
sure.
let's just look at things from a little bit of a different angle and see if we can create some real behavior change on where your money's getting poured into versus having enough of it coming in by
Right.
delaying gratification and getting these things into the right investments. So that way you can go do a podcast, you can start a crochet club, you can go get scuba diving lessons and live in, Costa Rica for a month, like, I, that's not everyone's goal, but whatever,
Yeah.
plug in XYZ for you of what I just stated. Let's get you there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just using myself as an example so that if anybody's listening, they can kind of like use something as a baseline, right? So I used to be way worse. Like, I used to not even care if I had money in the account or not. I was like, fuck
Mhm.
it, I'll just overdraw. I've
Oh
really
no.
I know, I was one of those. I was.
I used to be too, though. Like, it's just that's something I want to drive home with your audience too. Like, and you as well. Like, I used to spend it as fast as I get it, overdraw the accounts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but sorry, continue the rest,
No,
the
no,
rest of your
I've
thought.
just I was just the rest of my thought was I have disciplined myself not to go for that immediate gratification. Like if I really truly want it, it'll be there. And if it's not there, oh, no big deal. Like if I have to wait a couple more weeks until I get, my next paycheck because I can
Mhm.
cover all my bills and I have a little play money, or if one of my, sponsors pays within a month, then I allow myself to go ahead and buy that thing. Whereas before I was like, I'm just gonna buy it anyways. Now I'm like, no, you don't need it. You live in abundance, and that you just want it. It's not gonna make a difference here, like
Mhm.
one way or another. So like that was something that I've had to work on for myself because it was an immediate gratification thing. Now I just like it because it looks pretty on me.
That's a better reason though than just saying I want it because
Yeah.
I want it. And I
Right.
think something that works massively against Western people born in Western cultures is we're born into a world where the thought of perpetual consumption is just okay.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I there was a statistic by the minimalists that were given out of all the toys created in the world, 40% of them are consumed just by American children. Like that's how much
Wow.
of a problem we have. And if that's the statistic for children, I can only imagine it's got to be worse for adults if that's what we're priming our children to think is normal and okay to do. Buy more things, consume more stuff. Even if it doesn't matter, it's a newer, shinier thing. I want it because it's newer and shinier. And
Yeah.
so this idea of I think capitalism is starting to show real stress fractures between widening wealth gaps and stagflation and increased costs of housing and
Yeah.
healthcare and cars and higher education, college. And how does capitalism work? Well, a lot of it is revenue driven. And so as long as Apple can keep churning out new phones and getting you buying new phones, this model works.
Right.
But I think I think our generation, some of the older generations, and definitely younger generations, I think a slow schism shift is starting to happen where it's like, this isn't working not only for me, it's not working for a lot of the population, and it's definitely not working for the ecosystems and the planet and the wildlife and the resources that exist on this planet. So we need to do a better job curbing this behavior we've been
Yeah.
programmed into, born into, and be better protectors and stewards of not only the world, but our own mental health and our own
Sure.
well-being. And a very important and large way to do that is removing money stress in your life and stop spending so much.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Deanna with Label Free Podcast. I've got something special for you. Roses are red, violets are blue. We love shaved balls. How about you? Here is my gift to you. Valentine's Day is coming, and we know just the gift to give to that special someone for any and all special occasion. This Valentine's Day, it's time to give a gift that 4 million men worldwide trust from Manscaped. Use my exclusive discount and code LabelFree20 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And let me just tell you, I love their new cologne. It is so sexy. When my man wears it, I am just floored. So this Valentine's Day, he's going to be wearing this and I'm going to be all over him. So I highly recommend use my code LabelFree20 for 20% off and free shipping. Happy Valentine's Day. So some of the things you said I have a question that popped up. Do you think practicing some sort of minimalism would create an abundant life, however that might look?
I think it would yes, overarchingly, yes. I think there is definitely simplicity yields higher levels of contentment and happiness versus the constant perpetual thought of I want more, I need to buy more things. I'm sure, I haven't done any type of study on this, but I would wager that if there was some type of study done on people with more things versus people with less things, I feel like there would be a direct correlation of happiness, contentment, joyfulness, feelings of purpose that people who have less have relative to people who have more.
Yeah, I think people that have more that are just they're constantly buying the new better thing. That's like they're chasing something that there's something empty in their life, you know.
There's a void there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a void.
exactly.
You
Yep.
know, like I feel at this point in my life, I feel very fulfilled. And if I'm able to afford myself some new, like, fun clothes to wear for the next time I go out with my fiance or,
Sure.
you know, on the town with my girlfriends, like I'm able to really enjoy that and be proud of myself because, you know, I have everything I need. I don't really need anything else. And if you know, I can get better. I'm not saying I couldn't get
Everyone can always improve though, but yes,
you know, but
I
I'm
agree.
not I'm responsible with myself and my money, making sure my bills come first and just making sure that I'm, you know, I'm taking care of the priorities in my life from a financial perspective.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that look, I love if I find a nice button down or I find some pants that fit me oh so well, like I no shame. Like I like a nice new pair of clothes on me too. It freshens up my attire. You know, I look better, get compliments. One of the things I do though, like I have a set number of hangers in my closet. If one new piece comes in, one has to come out. So the
Oh my goodness.
decisions, what's that?
Oh my goodness. I can never do
Yeah.
it.
Trust me, I know plenty of girls around my circle of friends that couldn't do that either.
Yeah.
But they, you know, and because I limit the amount of things I can have in my
Yeah.
life, the next decision to purchase something is a lot more heavily weighed instead of just impulse purchasing it. Because now I know if I go home with that item, one item needs to come out now and it needs to get donated.
So, how did you discipline yourself? Okay, so you had a lot of debt in your early 20s and you amassed a net worth of $1 million by 31. So,
Mhm.
what did that journey look like to discipline yourself to say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore and I'm going to really focus on building my net worth?
Yeah, so it's kind of a three-part story. We'll start with the first
Okay.
first first part of it. The first part of it is I didn't grow up in the best household. Okay. I grew up where child abuse happened. I had testified against a parent in court. Religion was weaponized to, basically learn to hate my father and he's
Oh,
gonna burn in hell. And like
sorry.
it was a whole shit show.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not to play a violin. It's just to reinforce with people that are listening on this show. You can be dealt a bad hand in life and you can still get where I'm get. Don't let other circumstances you can control as a kid control the narrative in the future.
Yeah.
So with that said, my mother and my father didn't really talk about money. My father was very much a if you got it, spend it because life isn't guaranteed to you tomorrow. I half agree with that. Okay. The other side of it is my mother, she was overly conservative and missed out on a lot of investment opportunities because she pinched too many pennies. She was too worried about losing the money rather than the bigger win that was potentially on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Risk mitigation is an absolute key in wealth building. I preach that to it like religiously on my podcast. Wealth building isn't about building the money. Like you can build the money. The biggest important thing to learn about wealth building is risk mitigation.
Yeah.
Once you have all of it, don't lose it. Don't throw it all on black on a roulette table again.
Yes.
So, didn't grow up with any financial knowledge whatsoever. Troubled kid, wasn't really applying myself to things. Ended up joining the Marine Corps. I didn't really start taking my life seriously until we got overseas and we ended up losing an individual on a bomb dog. And he was 21. And that shit just like clicked real hard in my head. I was
Sure.
just like, holy shit, like I'm not young, I'm not invincible. I don't the future isn't guaranteed tomorrow. Like
Right.
I need to start applying myself to something because I definitely know I don't want to do this for another 20 years.
Yeah.
So, got back from the deployment. I had one more year left and I started picking up books, any type of book, journalism, photography, science, you name it. Ended up picking up this little financial book called The Little Book on Big Dividends. Again, I come from a financial base of zero. I read this book. It was super easy. It was like 120 pages, small little book. I was like, okay, we're just going to learn how to do this. This is a pretty cool concept. I like if I stash some money in these investments, they make me more money. And then eventually it gets big enough to where like I can just live off of it.
Sure.
So, ended up I don't know if you know what Scott Trade was. That doesn't exist anymore. It used to be a
No.
trade brokerage.
Yeah.
And so I pushed $10 or 10 I bought 10 shares of Bank of America while
Okay.
I was in the Marine Corps. I had no idea what I was doing. And this was in 2011. I was 21. The market had already bottomed out from the real estate housing crash and all that. But I was just like, I see banks, Bank of America's everywhere. I might as well just, throw some money at this.
Sure.
So the market goes up, it goes down. While it's going up, I'm just like, I'm a fucking genius. I'm going to make so much damn money. And then it starts going down same day. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. I should have just held on to the money and blew it at Myrtle Beach when I had a weekend off. It's going up and down. And I'll never forget, it closed and I had $4.14 more, $4.14 more than I had starting that day.
Okay.
And that clicked really hard in my head too. I was like, aside from me being an emotional mess, because I'm not used to mastering my emotions here, whether I do nothing today or whether I do everything today, these dollars will make me more dollars if I just delay the gratification of spending them. And so that's literally what started my journey all the way up to this, status of, millionaire. And I don't use that as an ego stroke. I just use it as an authority statement. Like, here I am. I did
You're
this.
Humble.
Yeah, I did this in a decade. Let me show you how you can do these things like this too.
Yeah.
And to people that go, I don't have enough money, I don't have this or that. I wasn't blessed with tons of money either. Like my first year in real estate, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I made 18 grand. Then I made 40. Then I made 72. Then I made 90. Like, I didn't immediately leave the Marine Corps and I was blessed with $180,000 income. Like I have fought tooth and nail to get where I'm at. I have always figured out ways to push money into the market. And because I started that behavior consistently at a young age with small amounts of money, then I did some really heavy hitting when I got older and my skill sets had increased and I moved in. I scaled my real estate business and then moved into medical device sales and worked in that industry for a few years as well.
Wow, look at you. Very impressive. So I think that if anybody's listening that can relate or is very impressed by Zach's story, you definitely need to reach out to him. With that being said, Zach, where can people find you?
Yeah, so we just got done doing social media expansions. So I'm really happy about this. And we actually just changed everything so that way everything's uniform. So
Good.
whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, what's the other one? Patreon's where you can get, paid service, which I can go into that in a minute, but it's Zach DIY Wealth. So ZAC DIY and then Wealth, WEALTH. Cool. Regarding people that are interested in the actual services on Patreon, I didn't grow up rich. I want to make the barrier to entry to building wealth so affordable for everyone. The standard cost of a Netflix account is $13.99. You sign up over on my Patreon, you get one-on-one coaching and you get all access to all my Excel spreadsheet and exclusive episodes for $10.56 a month. That is the cost of a Frappuccino and a ham and Swiss sandwich, including tax in the state of Arizona. If you can't forego that Frappuccino, which is cheaper than a Netflix account, I just don't think you're serious about getting where you want to get to in life. I need that as a commitment to show me I'm going to pour my energy into this person.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to put all those links in the show notes, you guys. So reach out to Zach. I think I might have to sign up for that Patreon account because your girl over here needs some help a little bit.
Deanna, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, girl. Let's get you started.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So before we say goodbye, any last words of wisdom or advice you'd like to leave with the audience?
Yes. Money is great. Above and beyond a certain amount, you get marginal returns on things. If you really want to identify and triangulate where happiness, contentment, and joyfulness exists in your world, pull off of the idea that it all lie within money, because it doesn't. As I got closer to my millionaire mark, I promised myself I would be happy. I promised myself I would be content and joyful. And as I got closer and closer to that number, I'm like, why am I not feeling the things I was believing or I thought I was supposed to be feeling?
Yeah.
And then that was the other paradigm shift and why I decided to unplug. And now I'm doing something I absolutely love. I'm absolutely committed to, and I can't wait to see this continue to grow. And I can't wait to help people along the way.
Woo! That was awesome. You are totally great. I love it. Thank you so much for being a guest today, Zach, and sharing your story. Let us know how things go. I always love to have you back and share more great stories with the audience that will help them. So thank you very much.
Deanna, I really appreciated us being able to coordinate. And thanks again for your time and letting me get to share everything with your audience.
All right. You keep doing that. Good job. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to share, like, comment, follow, all those good things, review, and I'll be back soon with more dynamic guest.